Okay, I'm going to show you now how to use the Poodle Zapier integration so that when a user is registered in an event in Eventbrite, they are created as a user in a Moodle site and then enrolled in a course in that Moodle site. So before I show you the nuts and bolts of how we created this and how you can create it for yourself, I'm going to show you this in action. So here's the event that we're going to register for, Party at Poodle Guys Pad. And here is the course that we're going to enroll ourselves into, Toronto Zap. And if we look at the list of participants in that course currently, there is only me, Justin the Poodle Guy. So let us book a spot here in the Party at Poodle Guys pad. And I've been practicing a few times, so I need to make a different user. So let's call it Atomant. I often use cartoon characters or fictional characters so it's clear that it's not a real person. Okay, great. So this is the user we're going to register for this event as, and register, and hopefully that will go through. Great. So if all has gone according to plan, that user that has been registered in the event here will have been created as a user in Poodle NET and enrolled in a course in Poodle NET. So we'll go over to our Poodle NET course here, which is actually just a Moodle site, but we have a Poodle NET service which has a few extra things added to it, but this works for Moodle also. And we refresh the page so we can see who the list of participants are. And there's Atomant. They've been enrolled in the course and created as a user on the site. Great, so that's working. So let's go and see how we actually did that. First of all, I'm going to delete this Zap. I'm going to create a new one from scratch so we can see how it's done. Delete Zap. Okay, and now let's create a new Zap. And you can kind of use AI to kind of automatically create that for you, but I don't find that works very well really. So let's just give this a title and we'll call it Eventbrite to Moodle. And go to trigger, and in the section here we're going to put in here Eventbrite because that is the trigger for the Zap. Okay, so here we need to authenticate with Eventbrite, and I've already done that in the previous step before you were here. Basically, that's a matter of just logging in and authorizing the action. So I won't go through that process here. Just know that when you do this yourself, you'll have to authenticate with Eventbrite. So you'll need an account with Eventbrite, even if it's a free one, which is all I have, and that will take you through. Now we have to choose an event. So this is not Eventbrite like something that the user has created event. This is like a technical event. So these are the categories of event here: a new attendee check-in, a new attendee registered, a new event registered on the Eventbrite platform, a new order, or an updated attendee. So let's put a new attendee registers for a ticket for an event. Continue. Okay, this is actually what I mentioned before, where we authenticate with Eventbrite. I've already done that, so let's let me just do that again, just to. Oh no, I'll leave it as it. So, but basically, it's just as I said. You have to authenticate with Eventbrite. Next step, choose the organization. I've only have one, which is Justin Hunt, which is me. The event status, which is a live event, so that's again nothing much to do there. This is the event itself that was registered. So we've just got the one, which is Party at Poodle Guys Pad. That's good, isn't it? So we select that and we move on. Okay, so we can test that now. Now, what that will do when we test it is we'll pull the last registered attendee for the Party at Poodle Guys pad, and that'll be the data that we use going through the rest of the setup activity here, because it helps to have some data to see what fields to map between the Eventbrite event and the Moodle user creation. Okay, so here is the attention. So actually, it's pulled 3. So these are users that I've tested for the Poodle Guys Party event. So if you go here, here's the event name. Some people will see the name of the user that registered somewhere. Not necessarily. Here we are. Here. So Atamant is attendee C. So let's choose attendee C. Continue with the selected record. Okay, so now we're going to choose an action, which is what happens in response to that Eventbrite registration. So I'm going to type in here Poodle NET because that's the app that we're working with here. If you set up this system on your Moodle site, it'll work just as you see here. So there's a few extra steps to do that, but it works just as well. Okay, now we're going to choose an event. So we're going to create a user. Okay, and continue. This is where we choose an account or authenticate with a Poodle NET site that we have. You could have, your own Poodle NET site. You could use somebody else's, but this is mine, Poodle NET for Toronto 2024. So I'll use that one. And again, I've already authenticated with that. So in your case, you'll need to authenticate. Okay, so here we add the create user fields, and we're going to map the data from the Eventbrite event to these fields here. So the first name is from the Eventbrite event, Atom. The second name, last name is Ant. This is a bit counterintuitive. I would imagine once I've selected something, this would disappear, but I actually have to do this. Otherwise, what can happen is I can actually add multiple entries in here, and that will make the last name, in this case, Ant Atom. So you have to press a little cross there to dismiss it. Get the email. Here's the email. And for the username, we don't actually have a nice field for the username, so I'm going to use the email address, which works pretty well because it's unique. And the password, if we don't set a password, it's optional, then the user will just be emailed a random password. And they can change the password when they log in for the first time. Okay, great. That looks pretty good. So test step. Now in this case, actually, we created Atamant earlier, so that user creation has already occurred. So it's just basically gone through again. So I don't think there's anything much for us to worry about there. We're not going to publish yet because we want to add the next step, which is to enroll a user. So let's go to Poodle NET again. So you can chain the actions together like this. In this case, we're going to first create the user and then we're going to enroll them in a course. We could add them to a MailChimp mailing list if we wanted to, or we could do that after we've enrolled them in the course. So we can chain any kind of actions together, not just Poodle NET ones. Enroll user in course. We're going to use the same site. And here we have to enter the enrollment information. So, and we've got 2 sets of data that we could choose from. In this case, actually, it's going to be the same data, but what is going to be the user's email or user ID? So let's just use the same data that we used for the Eventbrite trigger. And what is the course ID? So this will actually go out to the Moodle course and give you a list of all the, out to the Moodle site and give you a list of all the courses. So here we've got Toronto Zap, which is what we're going to use. And if we want to add them to a group, we can do that. Or if we want to suspend them, or not unsuspend them, we can also do that too. So this step can be used to unenroll a user or suspend them from enrollment at the same time. Okay, so test step, all right. Okay, so what would have happened now is that here Atamant will actually have been re-enrolled, even though they were already enrolled, so we won't see any difference. Perhaps we might have unenrolled Atamant to be sure of that. But so far, so good. So we click Publish, and Eventbrite 2 Moodle is on and going. Okay, so here we have a step where we can transfer our existing data. So this is like when you don't want to go through the process, when you want to kind of basically fill your action with data, you can do that, but I'm not going to do that. In fact, I've never done that, so it's just something I know about. So great, let's just dismiss that. And then let's go to Party at Poodle Guy's pad and we want to reserve another spot. We need to create a new user, so let's create Bugs Bunny. I've already used Bugs Bunny, so let's call this Daffy Bunny. When testing like this, it's nice to actually use one of your own site's fake email addresses, because otherwise some real person might get an email from you otherwise, or from Eventbrite in this case. So daffybunny@poodle.com, register. Okay, so daffybunny@poodle.com has been registered in the Party at Poodle Guy Pads event. Now let's go to our Moodle site and see if Daffy has been created in Moodle. Okay, and there is Daffy Bunny. All right, so that's a quick walkthrough of how to use the Poodle NET Zapier integration to connect Eventbrite with your Moodle site. For information about how to set up your Moodle so that this works, I'll post a link into wherever you're seeing this video so that you can go through that and try it yourself.